I had like, my Mac Daddy mic going and it's just not picking up for some reason. I guess I do this so often. Greetings, guys. Welcome once again. Can I get a mic check from everybody? I want to make sure I can hear all of you guys.
Hey, coach.
Hey, hey,
Copy.
cool.
Hey, coach.
Coach,
I'm
hey,
here.
coach,
We're
this
all
is
good.
Glenn. Hey, coach.
Awesome. Good deal. Coach Hud, what's up, brother?
How you doing, coach?
Good, man. Hope you are.
Man, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back at it.
Good. Good to see you. Hope everything turned out good at your little tournament. I know you guys just getting back, so I'd love to hear
Yes,
about it. I want you to share the moment because we got a section
absolutely.
in this webinar that we're going to go over certain things that coaches, most of the time they're just not, you know, they don't usually have a platform to speak to some of those things that are always in our world that are unspoken, but we know they're happening. So I'm going to pick your brain a little bit today, so I hope you don't mind. It's only going to be a couple of seconds, but
Absolutely. We'll do.
I just want us to get to a point where as we come into this new era that we are ahead of everything and your life is getting more simple. So hopefully step by step that's happening, but in a very short time you'll be able to just open up that binder and your life will be so simplified that it's just going to just create the separation and the clarity in what you offer, what problems and issues you're aware that you specialize in and stuff. So with that being said, this is what this is all about. So but we got to take a second and pray for our brother T Crook, who was just in an accident. I mean, like an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, on the way to the hospital. He's okay. Of course, it's never a good time to go through the hurdles, but we all know a setback warrants a major comeback. So hopefully, right now, as we pray that his recovery is full and it catapults him further ahead instead of behind. Our prayers go out to him and his family and the people that he impacts on a daily basis. So, special shout out to T Crook, coach, and stuff. So, just to let you all guys know that that's just happened. So he was going to be on the call, and of course, you know, fate has changed that gave him a pivot and stuff. So together we are collectively always overcome whatever is necessary. So who's aware of what we're here to do today? Did you guys get the information, your handout and stuff? Once again, we're here to take everything else to one more step closer, step by step. And I loved being able to see a good example of some of the things that are helping other guys and coaches inside of the school. It was very, very heartfelt when Coach Willis did his post about the young kid, and that situation happens, man. And as a coach, I'm going to speak to this before we get started. But as a coach, your agenda is to know and have a protocol for these situations. Those type things happen to us. Now, when I was more focusing and working with pros on that level, you really didn't have to impose these type of rules because they understand their job. They're much more experienced and they've been at elite levels. So you don't really have to enforce it, but you still have to have that rule book. So if any of you want to kind of utilize the rule book that I have, you're welcome to it. Just let us know as you know after the thing, and we'll show you some of the protocols that are fair to athletes and your trainers that are under you, because you got to have it in place as a point of reference, and so that you will always have that as your dartboard. Anytime things go out of hand, you have that dartboard to make sure that you have something to point to. So it aided me in making me double down on exactly where I needed to guide these athletes and how they needed to learn. There's a process with stuff. Now, the mentors I was under, they didn't play, because when you do it at a very high level, the risks and the rewards are so much higher, but very little attention is paid to those things. But with it, when it came down to having an understanding why these things are in place, I'm talking about these guys didn't put up with anything. Second strike, you're out. I mean, the first warning was so hard that most of us got into the fight game because of the love for it. So it's hard to put rules to it, but you gotta. Now, I use my own rules that apply more to my personality, but the landscape of the model was necessary. And I've watched it firsthand. You're out of here. Second call, like hard first warning, but you leave the gym that day. So it's basically suspension is first. So elimination from the team, and they always kind of tilt it back to, well, in the Olympics, when you walk in the door on time, you're late, you're out. So that's hard, but the stakes are so high, you have to have a place. So for me, I gave them a bend. I would put them on probation immediately, first time. Most of the time I bent, but I had a rule book that, backed me up. Well, I have to do this because on the first one it says your in-house suspension means just strict. You gotta follow and have a checklist of things that you do every day. And if you don't, then that's a harder suspension, meaning away from the gym. And so mines were more like my personality. I try to give people a chance. And so I just wanted to speak to that, because if you're a trainer, you're a professional, and you are a business, I'm here to aid you in making sure that you're not getting confused, that entrepreneurship means you've gotten into the status of trainer, coach, or fighter. This will say to you, you're either going to be a hustler with it or you're going to be an entrepreneur. What we're doing is making sure you pivot towards entrepreneurship. And so, therefore, these steps are in place for you, whether you fight, whether you own the gym, or if you're running a program. Because if you're running a program, you do run the gym. You have to see yourself in that next phase of your game. And structure is the number one thing that you'll need as you move into that next tenure of your career. That being, I know what I do. So I have a question here that I want to start off with. I think we started late enough, Kurt. Mr. Thomas, welcome aboard. It's good to see you. Now, I'm going to get into this next thing. So right here, what we got to do as I look at you all, and, I think a lot of people are appreciating you all, especially looking at when we highlight each one of you, Coach Colazar. We thank you for the great footage that you provided. We utilize it. You're being seen. So upwards of seeing you sending that, I think it's maybe 78,000 more people know who you are, and they know Crazy Monkey. And that's not even across the whole social media platform. But continue to double down on the awareness that you're being brought to, because there's some very formidable people seeing you in a light that most people don't understand is important to be seen in. All right. So we're talking sanctioning bodies and promotions and people in the LBC looking at that and realizing, oh, this program is really solid. And I double down on you if you've done the things right. Don't get it twisted. It's not a privilege. I mean, I'm not inept to just do that. What I feel like is you have to see yourself a stage further in the game, and that's what I'm doing, giving you that visual of what it looks like when you're in your next phase. So see yourself in that position, take yourself to the next level. Make sure your timeline is formidable to what's being seen. All right. So that means have good sound bites. It's important. If you're training your trainer, it is important. And the game is notarizing people who are conscious of their social media presence. What do people know about you when they go online on the internet? And that's what I want you guys to really take heed to. Don't take it very lightly. Now, as I say this, I want to make sure that you understand what problem are you solving at your gym. In a marketing campaign, you probably want to have a radius when you market your program, 10 miles, maybe 15, 25 if you're a place of destination, meaning you offer something nobody in that county offers. So when you get into that point, that's why it's important to know what problem you are solving. I'm going to give you an example for someone like myself, and I did a few notes so you'll understand and you can apply it to you. And then if you want to tell me or the guys here what problem you figured out you solved. So one problem I can solve is, can I actually put a person in a weight loss program? Doesn't matter who it is, if it's your grandmother who's needs to lose 30 pounds or a guy who's about to fight on the main card in the UFC or boxing, and he's like, yo, coach is reaching out to me and saying, hey, man, I know you do. Some guys came across me specifically because of the fitness or the nutrition. Jared Cannonier, who's a professional fighter, top brand, came down from heavyweight, light heavyweight, follows not my boxing, but the fitness and nutrition, and has left rave, freaking reviews about it. And you guys know me for the boxing. The thing about it is I went and got my nutrition specialist, certs. And it's important that I'm qualified to help people, aid people. You can back it up with your paperwork. So that says, well, you're qualified to do it, but can you do it? Another thing, strength training. I've worked with some of the best strength and conditioning people, Mark Asanovich, and I'm talking people who've done it responsible for 2 Super Bowl rings. His class, the one that brought Ray Lewis into the NFL, these dudes ordained what I've known and learned as the next, you're the next face. This dude removed himself from Baltimore because he thought from Jacksonville, because he thought I was going to come to replace him. But the NFL is not where I want to work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm qualified to help you in strength and development training. The qualifications, I've designed an entire yoga system, not a program, but a system. And it's yoga bells, bands, and boxing. It's Y3B. And it's over a decade old. So problems I can solve: flexibility, range of motion. My medical background in orthopedics and general surgery is based upon how I apply my training techniques, even across to the boxing platform. It's recovery more or less than pounding your body in and out. That's why you see some of those in-depth conversations that I have with you guys. when I'm doing, my streams into the page or a video that really goes a lot deeper than people understand. And the terminology I had to pull back. But that's falls up under the physical therapy. I can take any top athlete, a Tom Brady, and I can bring them all the way back. Tiger Woods, it doesn't matter. So I'm qualified for their high intensity training and all that stuff. So you get the idea, right? But a theory and thesis have to be written with all of those things, plus the paperwork to show. So I ask you once again, what problem do you solve? And if you don't solve it, is someone on your team that does solve these problems. Next is once you have an idea what problems you solve, it's irrelevant if that's not what people in your circle, in that radius of 10 to 15 to 20 miles, that's not what they're looking for. It's going to be tough to manifest a business, right? Would you agree? Have you ever tried to sell people something they don't need? You don't take sand to the beach. You know what I'm saying? You don't offer to sell salt to a snail. It's just not going to work. It's not going to go over good. So know what's in for your business. Know what's in demand the most if you're trying to trump your numbers. All right. It's important. If you are not doing the research, you will not see a gain in your numbers. If you're not pulling up these statistics, is it more weight loss? What demographic? Men, women, children, what age group? Bing, 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 single, like that is what us training guys, coaches, gym owners, we don't want to do that. We don't want that smoke. But those are the things that will decide how far your company will go, not how hard you work or how much passion you have inside of the work that you're doing for these individuals, but what is your process in business and growth as a trainer, gym owner? Are you doing those hard analytics? And do you have an actual process in place? Hence is why my job for you guys, my job is to be a constant reminder and to make sure that you get bullets and double down on it with your posting, because your posting keeps you honest. It's the thing that says, if I friend or someone friends me, my storyline, my timeline tells the story. If I'm some kind of crazed lunatic who just is far out to left center as a person can be when it comes to being delusional, or it's going to say, man, this is either a super duper hoax or this guy's extremely thorough. I want to work with him. And no one goes to our pages and our timeline and doesn't want to work, because all the proof is in the pudding. So that's why the things that track behind you are the things you leave behind you. Google tells you what it knows. Your social media tells you what it has, and your website presence really is the thing that confirms what your value is. So if you got a crummy website, then it's going to tell everybody immediately what you're not. They can see what you could possibly be, but it says to them what you're not. So be very conscious of these things. And if you have trouble, use the group or set up an appointment. Yes, it costs because it's going to change your value. Yes, it takes time because it's a process, and that's just not a word that we use lightly over here. I wake up every day. I can't impulsively do stuff because Stacy will tell you anytime we go off impulse, it impacts so much less. Before we got started, you guys got a printout sent in your email for you to have. The amount of material we've given to help increase your value in your company structure, we could leave the planet. We could leave the planet today and you'd have enough. The thing about it is the camaraderie that you got to implement, which is with your brothers who you're supposed to be in competition with every single day. You're supposed to say, I can outwork the process in which coach is laying out there. And I seen Eric Colazar, man, does he have his ABCs intact. I need to get it to A, B, C, D, E, F, and G so I can push him. And together you have to be that sounding board and you have to push one another through your own actions, if that makes sense. Just give me a thumbs up. It's powerful, man. And you have to have that. And I try to set the bar. I'm in competition with you all. You coming up on me, I got to push the limit or I'm a horrible leader. All right. So the work that we're doing for your path has to be done with a big shovel and some what we call mechanical arms because I don't care really who you go get. It's hard for anybody to keep this pace and structure at the same time. That's why every week you're going to see something new added to the business, added to the company. And I expect to see the same thing from what you all are doing. I don't want to see the same Eric Colazar as I saw last week. I want to see the same, what's your name, Chapman, as I saw last week. Add a wrinkle. It's like a fight. You add a wrinkle and stuff. So know what problems you solve, know how to operate and take these things step by step. Your basic skills. Who's very confident in the way that they, who's very confident, let me see a show of hands, in how they are pricing their services? Who's confident in it? Okay. Who believes they deserve more for what they do because they do, because they put the ethics behind it, that work ethic, and their results are formidable. Who believes they deserve more? Or who feels like they've maxed out? You deserve more? Okay. Can you itemize out the things that you're doing for people that they don't know? Have you taken the time to do that? Because that's what you're going to need to do. So it's clear to people. See, I itemize out what I give. See, no one that's under our banner could say, well, you know, coach ain't doing this or coach ain't doing this because I've itemized it. It's on our timelines. Like if you can't use all of this stuff that's there, then that's a you thing. It's not a who's helping you thing. And I always am my own worst critic. So itemize your stuff out when it comes to your services. It simplifies everything. People don't know that a Mercedes comes with Pirelli's tires. Well, they're going to question when they go get new tires. Why do they cost $4,000? Because, oh, they're Pirelli's. Pirelli's has its own brand. When you go stay at a W, it's going to be a little more than when you stay in a Hamptons Inn. You know, if you go to a Ritz-Carlton, that's a big brand. So that warrants you to make more per night. We check hotels for this upcoming week for a business trip, $700 a night. All right. Who want that smoke for a week? You do the math. All right. You want that smoke? All right. That's not monopoly money. That's brand. And I said, edify your brand. Brand being us, because all these entities know of what we do. Everybody. And they know what our narrative is in the market. So when you tie yourself to it, bing, bong, bing, once again, your value changes. Oh, I'm in a school. I'm in a system. I am totally being groomed to take the game to the highest of levels. Don't underutilize that, okay? Because it's a powerful thing. I'll constantly remind you. And I edify where I came from because it matters. People understand it more. And knowing what you're supposed to be charging is a powerful thing. Learning what you're learning in the school of boxing is not to be shaken with. Don't be surprised if you see that IPO launch. You get it? This is not a game. When it comes down to what you guys are doing in charging, you know, the first rule of thumb after your first 1,000 hours is you make $1 a minute. Who's charging at least $1 a minute? Good, Coach Colazar. Who's at the point right now? Nobody else is charging $1 a minute. Nobody else for working with people. Who doesn't? Who here, Chapman? Are you working with any people? Raise your hand if you are. Okay. Are you just fighting? All right. Well, when you're fighting, you need to be sharing that knowledge too. So, key thing, once you get to your next tier, which is your basics, skills, and fitness, because you're putting that boxing education to your fitness. So now you don't charge $1 a minute. You automatically up that. A minimum of $75. Who trains an hour? Who trains half-hour sessions? Who does those? You do half-hour sessions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Godspeed. I was in a big box gym. I was the only guy who didn't do those. I mean, the gym made new rules for me because I just, you with me, you need to be with me. Let all these other trainers have the 30-minute people. You know, I need that Benjamin, because what I do, and you just imagine me in the gym against, a slew of other trainers who were trying to do exactly what you guys are doing, utilize what I know. But I'm like, I can give you things and you can watch me, but, extend your education. If you're not charging $75 and boxing and you're training with people for fitness, then that's a you thing, because it shouldn't even be $75. I'm saying worst case scenario, boxing and fitness. You have to write that in. That is it's not the same thing. It's boxing and fitness. You shouldn't be making less than $75 a session. See, I don't need to monetize the hour. If you're with me, you might be with me 65 minutes or 40 minutes. I've done, and Stacy can attest to this, I've done people for 7-minute sessions for same thing. I don't need the whole time. 7-minute session, 11-minute sessions, same price. You're in a session, you pay the same price. It keeps the confusion down and stuff, but when you're moving into advanced teaching, you're bringing a new level experience, because you guys are at least at the beginning end of the advanced teaching sector. And you have to know that you should not be making under 125 per session, because not only you're fixing the problems that I started to allude to, it goes into you can take a person into an entirely different level. That costs. If you go to Lexus and get their coupe. You can get the baby boy, or you can get the big boy. All right. This curriculum that you have in the School of Boxing, which is why I said if you don't have your curriculum yet, you got to get your curriculum. That changes your value and it's itemized in your offering. Do you want the baby boy coupe, which is still has the Lexus tags on it? That's fine. I don't give a damn. But then you got the people that know, no, I'm about that country club life. Or when I pull up inside of these events or whatever I'm doing, I want people to know how hard I work. And I got the big boy. And that's how you got to think. You don't have to be arrogant to think that way. What you're doing is showing work ethic. People see you and know you as a gym owner or a fighter or a trainer. If you're a fighter, you better think about this. What you do is your brand. What you're known for is your brand. My brand ain't boxing. My brand is bridging gaps. So whether it's in finances, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in boxing, fitness, whatever, whether it's in talk shows, I bridge the gap for people. That's my brand, whatever we do. Food for fighters, it's time to box, jab juice, our marketing stuff. Everything you do with me, I'm gonna make things make sense to you. Is that not my brand? Is that not our brand? Our brand isn't boxing. Our brand isn't Eric Bradley. Our brand is bridging gaps and making things make sense. You don't have a following if you don't do that. And it's a powerful thing. And so this information, knowing how much to tell the salesman when you're going to get that coupe that you want the big boy. So when you're in advanced teachings, you have the big boy. So you make the big boy money. You're making Wall Street money. You're trying to show the game that there is no, like you can't go on our site. I'm ashamed of what is being charged. So we're stepping into the big boy game. The big boy game is now we can solve more problems. If you guys just came into the School of Boxing like this year right here and you didn't have the history, the offering change is going to be so different because of the problem we can solve. The problems that we can solve now will be much greater than before because you were nibbling and it felt like a feast until you see a feast. And that's where we're taking you. We're never going to look the same from 1 month to the next, let alone 1 year to the next. And that's exactly what we want to see reflect on you all. So understand your value first. You have to do your research as to who are the demographics looking for you after you know what problems you solve. When I'm searching for something on YouTube, I'm trying to figure out how to type the problem I have. That's my biggest thing. And I know you all deal with that because it's not easy to try to word it perfect so the perfect video comes up. So simplicity is a powerful thing. Having the wherewithal to know that you're an advanced skills teacher. So if I say, look, man, thing about this is Andre Berto, literally, I'm going back and forth with Andre Berto. He wants this comeback. He's out west. Do you feel like you can work with him? I don't want to ask that question. I want to know because that's what my next thing is. The opportunities that I have that I'm passing them out because I'm not training people. I work with the coaches and the gym owners and the organizations. That's where I'm at. I'm not in that world, but I need the guys who I know are able to. So if I was to say that, who thinks right now that you could take an Andre Berto kind of guy who's been in the ring with everybody and has had all kinds of training to take a person at that level and say, yeah, I got it. Not with cold feet. And the night you're thinking, I don't know, maybe not a joint. Like you got to know and to be able to double down. Because if I do the referral, which, you know, I want to know that they not going to be like, man, this dude, he didn't know what he was doing. I don't want that. I want you to know. So advanced skills, competition. Who remember what's the bottom line when you are teaching advanced skills? What's the money that you make per session minimal? Who remembers? Turn your camera on if you remember. Give me a show of hands. Do you remember? And this is the thing. This is the thing. The most simple things. If you're not taking it away from this conversation, then it's lost. It's 1,000% lost. That's why you can't.
75, right?
Huh?
Was it $75 an hour?
I think it was 175 a session, right?
How much?
175 a session.
No, I said the bottom number was 125.
Oh, 125.
So, yeah, it's a power, man. Look, I care that you know stuff, and so I take my mornings where I have an entire list of stuff to check off to say I want to understand the note-taking prowess these guys have. We already did 55% of it for you. So all you got to do is, okay, these are bullets.
Coach, the 6-week camp, how much would you charge for something like that?
Who are you doing it for?
Excuse me?
Who are you doing it for?
Well, not at the moment. We're thinking about processing it. That's what we're gonna have our phone call. Remember, we're gonna.
Yeah, and the thing about that is the value with that is people got to understand, instead of just coming to the gym and working out, now you're in a system, a proven method, and it has the level of education that's put behind it is imminent.
Yeah,
It's infinity, it's timeless, it's priceless. You don't even begin that conversation until you extract and know who are you doing it for. You don't charge. This is the thing, the video that I did, price versus value. I'm not going to sell a 11-year-old kid a training program that they come to me for, the same, who has a single mom or just regular parents who make, $60,000 a year collectively in their household. They pay what it says. Catch it on sale. Mm-hmm. If the UFC approaches me for that same program, they already know how to monetize it. They're going to put it in a vein that is already full of blood and moving. And they're going to make a shit ton of money off of it. So do you think I still charge them $93? No. They paid $193,000.
Yeah.
It's no skin off their teeth. It's cost versus value. And you don't understand that, you doing a camp ain't the same as you inviting a world champion in the camp to do it for. I can say, well, I brought a world champion in here for you guys to do a clinic with, conditioning camp. So you understand, a systematic, basic fundamental skills. When I brought in Chop, dude, it's a million of these guys that want to do this kind of thing. Thing about it is, those type camps, man, the pearls you're getting, it's not from the internet. You're getting it from a person who's done it from A to Z. Those kind of type things, you don't get into any of those type things for under $5,000. You can go to marketing events. They use guys named like Grant Cardone. That's $10,000 minimal, and that's bottom feeding. You're in the bottom feed section, nosebleed section. You're not even looked at if all you can do is just get in. And so I have to always continue to keep in mind to raise your mindset. Price versus value.
Price versus value.
Yeah. There's a price on it, but to most people at the elite levels, the value that they're going to bring to having that, and the value that it's going to bring to them is going to change their IPO on the Dow Jones. You cannot not,
These are just like they're kids. They're kids coming into the gym. It's not a big old brand.
No, if it's kids, you have a program that people can do and opt into, just like they would have at the boys club when I was going up. Parents go to work, $250. You want to go to a field trip? $250.
Yeah.
You want to go to the Dean Smith Center?
Yeah.
All right, $250. If it's not that, if it doesn't bring value to you and your joy, then don't do it. But you can't save everybody. You gotta have value in yourself. And when your program's to the point where it's formidable enough, you can also have that charity kind of, we're gonna have 4 spots paid for those who are less fortunate. Oh, gym ain't less fortunate.
Yeah.
No, they wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
You can't play a player with this game. So I mean, I'm not going to take my road back 10 years because you trying to win this thing. Yeah, no, it's there for a reason. I've itemized out why. So when we do our meeting, you'll understand the value and how to go about the pricing part for those type things. And you make a circle full of needy people, and your circle will stay full of needy people. You make your circle full of people who have optimal goals and process down, and you will find success at an optimal level. That's the recipe. You don't find Warren Buffett hanging around with cats in the gutter, smoking joints, drinking shots of cheap liquor and dollar wine, and wearing a $3 suit from the thrift store. It's everything the exact opposite. No, I don't want to F with you.
Yeah.
I didn't get my choices on this planet to be minimized by mediocrity. That's an insult to me. And I'll check anybody who try to bring it on to me, whether you're family or friends, and y'all know I get passionate about this part because I mean it. You're cut off. I have too much to do, so my kids won't have to do nothing. They're going to have to do something, but they ain't going to have to worry about money and, understanding their heritage and where they come from and what their job is on the planet. So that's kind of where my arrows cross, and I don't ever try to bring mediocrity to me. You want to be unfriendable? Bring mediocrity and mindset, and be afraid to spend, because I could show our daily just deductions coming, and dude talking about spending $200. If I just made a joke with Stacy, I was like, I'm at a point where when a service charged me $150 to do something, I'll tip them $150 because I'm so used to spending thousands. Like, I don't even know if I go to a car wash and he say $500, I'm gonna say, okay, because I won't know, because everything I deal with has extreme value to it. So it might look like something small, but the value that it brings is large. So I can never hardly argue with pricing. When people say, well, my service, man, we can do this for your company, it's going to cost $10,000. Is that not the number, Stacy? Like, nothing's less than $10,000 at this level, but we pushed into it. So just understand, you will be in the same boat. There were times where we couldn't spend $150 on stuff. Oh man, they trying to kill us. That's how you think when you haven't done right by the game. Oh man, $200. I'm like, man, I don't shake a stick. You can put $200 on a bag of Funyuns now. And I'll be like, okay, this must gonna bring value because I'm surrounded by value. So even the smallest thing, I can't argue with, and it's hard to if you do. And everybody has their hand out. That's the difference when you are at one point and then you get to another point. At one point, you're just kind of like always in that place that you're sensitive over pricing. And then at another point, if the pricing ain't enough, you double down on your tipping. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sliding a car dude, you know,
Yeah,
$100.
got you.
I'm paying you more than your boss charging me. I'm tipping more than the boss charging. And that's when you are on the right track. And the best way to get success is to give people another opportunity to build their success. And that creates steps. And that's where the triangle offense is one of the prime, is the prime ingredient. And you must all learn it in its entirety so you'll understand, oh, in a year you'll look back and be like, I forgot I used to be that naive, dude. Now I'm thorough. So everything will operate different.
That's what's up, Coach. Thank you.
The next thing, competition, competitive. What do you charge when it's competition? And you can now not only work with basic and fitness, but competitive. Who understands how to charge for that? That is a thing. It's like a detail. Not only can you vacuum the car and put Armor All on the tires and Rain-X on the windows and coating on the car to protect it, but now you can actually do the total detail of the car. Those are just nicks and crannies, but you have to itemize out. So who feels like you have your program your program and what you charge for competition, is that separate, or it's just like you, if you got a membership, you can go? Competitive athletes are taking advantage of this because you think about the dude who was working with, you think about the dude that was working with Tank and Ryan Garcia, you know, this is, and you say, well, all of those guys whose amateur coaches didn't charge or anything are pissed right now because they're still in the same boat because they don't understand that boxing is a business. And believe me, every professional out there right now that's out there who's successful, they got a pissed off coach that was their amateur guy who maybe not, didn't take. Everybody has a big heart. Everybody has a big heart and they all are broke. And it's just because you live to be taken advantage of, and you just got to say, well, I have a line. Now it's up to you to say, I can work with you for this because, but my rule book already has this. And if you're signing up for competition, how much do you charge as a rate, inclusive rate for competition? We got, I know Coach Hudson can speak specifically to traveling with fighters and athletes, and see, Lloyd, you're working hard to get yourself to that level where you're able to be seen. Because once you start being seen, once you produce video that's solid enough to be on It's Time to Box, you'll start to see. Because now, even though Eric's was over a month ago, our analytics continually is being tracked, period. And it doesn't go away because, you know, when you got millions of people on our page, and, you know, I can show you as good as I can tell you, I can screenshot it right now just so you understand, you never stop being seen. And when you never stop being seen, I have all of these top people on the show. You think Dia Davis don't show Dustin Poirier? And you see, you think Chop and them ain't talking to all of these guys, and and Otis, who's in the elitist circles of world champion. These guys, you think they're not talking? Yeah, every referee. Yeah, Haley Zell's my co-host. Every one of the referees in New York and California and all of these people are watching y'all's videos when I put you out there. Like, they're watching you more than you're watching them now. I just want you to know that. You're not just on some page, man. You're on Master Boxing. Master being the word that you pay attention to, because when I created the brand, it was to set the tone for the game, that the standards of our sport will be respected, and so will the money that you have to pay to get it. It's respectable because you're going to respect what we do. So know how to charge for what you do. Competitive athletes, you go into tournaments, you ain't charging for travel, you ain't charging for food, hotel, all of these things. The mental side of the coaching, you're the psychiatrist, you know, strategic. And when you take guys out of town to travel and the competition, you're never off the clock. You got a 24-hour day. You're going to charge them the same thing you charge somebody to come in and do squats. That's a you thing. All right. And this is not reaching. This is stupid. How Apple, how Google, Amazon, because you went to Amazon and bought a book in 2003, does not mean you're going to get an Amazon subscription in 2021 for free because you bought a book in 2003. You get it? Like, it's two different things. And they make sure it's all divided. So you have to divide stuff. And it's up to you to work with things, but you have to be able to put it out there. And strategically, we've done it so it matters. That's one of the gifts that I've had, never to be taken advantage of, because I'm bringing mad value. There's so many people that I've helped lose 50 pounds or more, that their life is different because of the mindset I also gave them, not just the weight loss. That makes sense. You gonna pay $100 to have your whole life changed around? Like, you're crazy. Period. You have to understand how to create separation. And I'm going to wind this thing up with the last few things. So if you do not have the content you got to have, first, you must understand that's why we put it in place. We could have had everything just all isolated, but it's put together in a place where every sector of the school of boxing that you're in, you'll need to reach further. And those videos are the things that allow you to reach further and extract. In each sector you're done, your value is creeping up dollars at a time. All right. So you invest whatever it is, because you get a hell of a discount. You invest to change what you're going to make. So just say, for instance, you paid $10,000, which is a fucking steal in the world of marketing and the strategic guys that are in it. You pay $10,000. I said, pay $10,000, you get the video, because it ain't gonna be. It's not even gonna be that soon. When you do that, that $10,000 is gonna help you make $10 million, 1,000%. Okay, so that's price versus value. So $10,000 is nothing. There's nothing in the world you can only spend $10,000 on and make 10 million. And 10 million is a cap if you decide not to do it the right way. If you put the process in place and just keep it simple. And if you want to have a workshop, request a workshop. I like to see people learn skills, learn the system of boxing. But I also like to say, man, we finally made it from 6 figures to 7 figures because of this process put in place. That's the only way I win, period. And we don't work this hard to have a bunch of losing coaches on the team who are still stuck in the 90s and 80s and 70s, because all those coaches got screwed. All of those coaches got screwed. The fighters got screwed. A lot of fighters didn't make it to the top because of the circle that they had. And a lot of coaches got screwed because when the guy cashed in, the coach won alone, didn't get the ride. We're not having that. So we fixing both spectacles. And we also bring in a lot of brands. All the top brands are watching. So we talk to all the executives and only CEOs and guys who make the final decision, whether they're GMs, CEOs, they're watching the same kind of thing. We're in constant communication. The same way I'm in communication with you. Every major brand in sports, we're on contact with, on a constant, just like these kind of calls. So they know. So that's why it's good to be seen. Like that show is Time to Box, man. That ain't something I felt like I had time to do. I just felt like that needed to be done. And all you got to ask yourself now is, do you know what will add value from this webinar that you're doing today? Do you know that this brings value, or do you know what specific brought you value today? You can just give me a show of hands. Okay, because I just, that's my job, is to keep you in a place where nobody can move you off your spot. You deserve to be here. Damn it. The game got to catch up with you. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. I'm making sure that as we move forward, that less people are able to be involved with us who don't understand the basis of value versus price. I'm making up any dime you've ever spent here, because I'm saying being able to get the most out of what you've already done is the key. Extract that orange with that orange purifier, or extract the juice out of that thing. That's what you got to be able to do. And that's what these do for you. So mentally, ask yourself this: are you ready to go to the next level? The next level does not look just like this level you've been on. It changes. When you get in the ring, you get a bloody nose again, but you thought you knew boxing. But that's what happens when you go into the next level. Maybe you get dropped with a body shot where you thought your defense was nice. The difference is the other guy got more wrinkles. Just like peekaboo punch performance, it opens up any defense in the world, even a defense like Floyd. Because if you think a punch is coming somewhere and it goes somewhere else, it's hard to defend that. Because I've seen so many guys who was getting that first peekaboo and there was like, yo, I'm killing it. But I know this, as a coach, like I am, I'm maniacal about making sure that you don't have any confidence in yourself when you come back to that gym to battle us. So I had to battle myself, the mindset I was thinking. And I was like, what I would do, because we've had the experience of being able to shut down a peekaboo and a monster peekaboo too. The kind of things we got to do. When people know you coming with the peekaboo style, your athletes, it doesn't matter if they know, because we created an entire system that did not come with the peekaboo. We added layers to it. Being able to fight off your back foot and using the peekaboo, learning how to extract and utilize the Philly shell, no matter what stance you're in. That is a merger. It also changes my value. So I got to get out the eraser and change the numbers on the board. You don't think that brings value? Get out of town. So appreciate that what your value is continues to grow, because you're going to learn continually how to keep bringing new people in there. And from what you've grown into, they see a different person than when you started. So they see the value. You know, if you walked into my gym, what do you think you got to pay me a session? What do you think I would charge a session?
I'm gonna say at least maybe about 300, maybe off top. I don't know, I could be wrong.
You don't pay per session when you get somebody like me. It's like a lawyer. You retain them.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it could be 30,000.
10K to 30K retainer.
Yeah. You gotta retain me.
Yeah,
Like,
retain.
I'm not gonna get screwed because I'm gonna change the value and then I'm gonna highlight you.
Right.
Like, dude. And I know the bells and whistles behind making sure the right people see it. Like when I did the video for the guys for the It's Time to Box, like that video right there, they can share it. If you learn marketing, you can target because you're letting somebody else justify you. So that's why I encourage you to get through your program and having all of your material, but get through your program. So when I see the videos that look worthy, because if your video hadn't been seen, that means you got to step your game up, because that platform, when I do that, from Showtime, ESPN, Fox, DAZN, I got a person right on this thing right now that telling you right in your face. Of course, he's not lying. He's not already known all these people, but it just puts you in a beautiful light. None of your compadres in your town will be able to say they're being really highlighted by a real entity. And I take great pride in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Being able, when I do and have those things done how they done, great time and effort has gone into it. Period. You know, and I made a value to something that didn't have a lot of value, but some, and I put value to it, a lot of value to it. So utilize it. If you get one done, utilize it, because you may be such a coach that you don't understand how your viewers look at it, you know, period. So utilize it, because I co-signed on you. That don't mean I'm gonna be co-signing on you in the future, because I also pay attention to what's being done with it and what's not being done with it. So I don't like wasting my time either. So if you do it, you better show you appreciate it, because I ain't got time to keep getting behind you with both feet, because that stuff takes thousands of man hours, thousands of dollars of man hours to produce. So utilize everything that you guys have. Make sure you do have the thing about this, ain't nobody spent over $3,000 at all for their bundle. All right, the whole thing, your material. You get into the school, our new platform is done. And when it launches, when we set the launch date in the now time, you'll see there's nothing that you paid that is now, it's price versus value. I don't care who you are. So y'all gotta steal, period, because we know the value of that stuff. That's why it was built in the way it was. So just realize this, and you ain't start your payment, everything's gonna be according to what that price is. And it's night and day. You get it? You got to justify, doing it. And, we can make you walk to the water. We can't make you drink. So have that done. Get that taken care of. Get it set up. If you got to do your payments, it doesn't matter. Just get it done, because price versus value is a real thing. I don't bring on leave behinders, meaning people that I don't feel bring value anymore. We got to leave them behind. I don't pick them back up. And my history will tell you that. My track record says it. Utilize, appreciate, jump on it, and take your game to the next level, because that's what it takes. All right. If you don't have the content, get it, take care of it so you can get moving. And then you'll pay yourself. You'll see how you're paying yourself and your service. Itemize it. Knock that out. It's important for the people who will be giving you money to understand why they are giving you money. And that simplifies it for people. You've had a light bill that was out of this world. You were like, yo, what's the deal? And they said, well, you never turn your heat off, and your light stayed on that entire week you had your family over. And then you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Itemize, justify. Any questions? Did you guys have any questions to share? or ask about pricing, about setting up your stuff? If you don't have it set up, who does not have your champion stuff? Because it comes into play. You need to make sure you have it set in center. And if you do, know how to start pricing yourself. Who does not know how to price yourself when it comes down to when you start to acquire your attention? That's where we have the tiers. When you get into level 1, then you go to the next quarter, and so on and so forth. Are y'all aware on how that works? How and when is it time for you to restructure your itemization page on the website? Because I know 100% that you're going to get more calls, especially when you hit the whatchamacallit, the It's Time to Box series, because people are requesting and asking. And there are tons of people that are asking, who is this? Where can I go to get this? But it's up to the person who's been marketed, who's been highlighted in the video to start setting things up. So you're confident in the way you're pricing. You're confident in how to price it once you acquire the knowledge. And when you go up every quarter, that means you've acquired something more, right?
Hey, Coach, that's exactly where I'm at right now, is restructuring everything, because just as you said, it just went just like that. Wheels started turning, people started coming in. Yeah. And now I'm in this place where it's like, I got to restructure this, because people want more of my time.
Make it pretty though.
My time is valuable. And
your time is so valuable.
And it's worth it, but it's just following the process. And all of a sudden you'll have these problems, which is a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but work nonetheless. It's more work to, and that's why we got these bullet points and these outlines, and we offer the workshop, because sometimes when you come into this kind of meeting, it's so much work coming at you, so much knowledge and insight that it's overwhelming, and you only have a little time to look back at stuff. And I get it. So you have to say, look, now I just need to set up an isolated workshop on this topic here from A to Z, no other topic. And that's how you get effective work done, and things that say, hey, I want to do this and only this. So this will be done on my wall, and I'll have it from A to Z. And that should last me 6 months, because I won't move when I move into new quarters and am challenged to do more things. I got 2 or 3 videos where I'm being highlighted and edified. That changes my whole payment structure right there. So I got to do another one. And that's fine. As often as you need them, just do the workshop, because my job ain't to take your money. My job is to take your money and flip your money for you. So you can say, yo, man, that is what I needed. I needed to be able to believe in the fact that my program is worthy of it. I brought a picture. Y'all see how many videos that I'm in picture? I used to always say, if I kept and had all of the stuff, I got a lot of VHSs, but if I would have kept and retained and had pictures done, this is one of the last few pictures. This was after a camp that Holloway had, and just was recruited to be Manny Pacquiao's chief sparring partner for 5 years. That was the year he beat De La Hoya. And now you could kind of understand the elite circle, that when you was watching fights, you didn't even know that Master Boxing was behind that shit too. You get it? I'm talking 15 years ago, when this dude was smoked. The main guy was a Master Boxing student. All right. And this is him right here. So you can go to Lazy Boy. Those are the people who used to do all the photography. They got all the stuff. But that's why I say now, I'll never not have footage of me in action, because I'm a bad dude in the midst of the heat of the action. And
hey, Coach, I
yeah.
had a question for Coach Colazar.
Okay.
Did you, I know that you said that you looking at bringing some other folks on board to support you. I know that's something that we've talked a lot about over here, that it just, we're all given the same amount of hours. And I think you said you brought some guys on board to support you. How's that going?
I tried to bring them on
easy.
board, but they didn't want to. It's not easy. So I've had a couple of setbacks in that area, but at the same time, I know who's on my team, and I know the guys that I can count on. And I'm seeking out new people to help me build a good coaching team within the gym, because at this point I'm pretty maxed out, and I need other trainers in the gym who are willing to put in work.
Sure.
But it's actually, I'm enjoying the process. I'm trying to cultivate different people and bring them on board, but I have standards, just like, Coach Bradley does. You have to meet my standards, but I'm willing to give people a chance. And that's based on the conversation that me and Coach Bradley were having. I'm going to give people a chance, because all they got to do is be able to run the stuff that I run, the basic classes that frees me up, that allows me to grow my business. And I'm at that point now. It's where I'm just looking for people to build my team.
Okay.
And that's what I need. But it goes back to the conversation that me and Coach Bradley had when we had our little appointment, and it's been helpful, but it's a process that you got to go through in growth and development. And especially now, since I was highlighted with It's Time to Box, like I know who my average client is. I know who people who come to me are. And now I'm getting other people. Now I'm getting experienced boxers who are coming to me. I'm getting people who have game. I've got just a guy who come in. He was a sparring partner for Jeff Lacey, and he's coming in to work with me. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he because he sees that we're teachers. We're not just, run-of-the-mill trainers. It's you're actually teaching people something, and quality, and it's being recognized across the board. So it's all these problems are fun. They're exciting. It forces you to grow and learn. But the big thing that I'm taking away from it is which I've already understood, is you've got to understand your value and price yourself accordingly. And as coaches, a lot of times we're too much, we're givers. We want to help people and give of ourselves, but that ain't going to put food on your family's table.
No. And
so true.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Good.
And
thanks for sharing that. I've been thinking about it. Thanks.
It's just, you have to, an easy way to do that, Coach, is kind of what I do with you guys. And even if you got to say, I want you guys to come on a call so you can have an appreciation of where you're going to go. They got to be able to see the vision. So it's good to have it visually. What happens to a trainer who comes and works up under, us over here at Crazy Monkey? This will, your first quarter, expect this, and have them have a computer set up for those guys, just for your gym, that is set up for them to have reviews and things to give them confidence. One of the things that most trainers won't say out loud is they don't quite know what they're doing. I just had one of the top amateur fighters in the world who turned pro and said, man, I'm starting to train and I don't know how to do it. So he reached out for me like this. I'm talking one of the greatest amateurs I've ever seen fight in the history of boxing. And that's including Mark Breland and Lomachenko. I'm serious, all right? So it doesn't translate. It doesn't transfer. So if those guys are coming under, just have them, like calls like this. These are kind of things they need to see, because they can see the vision. We share a lot of the same vision. It makes sense. And our platform is your platform. Crazy Monkey is a part of Master Boxing. So utilize it to your max And any of you who have people around you who can't and don't get it, and you can't word it right, invite them in, check with us, invite them in if we give them a thumbs up, because what we got to do is help you build and grow so you're past that point and you got new problems. All right. So they're always welcome. When you're at that point, you got to start regrading and changing your pricing. Get a workshop and isolate specific things. And I can tell you what it's going to do for you to have that visibility on that show. I can tell you, he just told you, but I already know it doesn't stop. Like the videos are still being shared. We got 11,000 shares on a video. We got more shares than people have views. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wrap your head around, you are being rotated into so many different markets. So I'm looking forward to you all doing this, man. Who's clear on where we are and what you need and how you're going to apply what you just took in today? You good?
I'm clear, coach. I just understand more about like value and what I'm learning, how to market myself. So yes, sir. I appreciate it.
I love seeing the beauty of the nature. I love knowing, that guys who are in the sport currently, like Errol Spence and those guys as coaches, are looking at you. Eric Colasar is being seen by all them dudes. And that was a pretty light to be put in, unexpected. So you don't ever have an idea who that call is going to come from, because if he was in California, wow, because all the fighters are in Cali, like heavy duty fighters. In South Florida, like you in the right city, state, they're going to just start trafficking, and they'll still do it over there. But if you think the influx changes, then you go to a fight market and that video landed, it's just like, holy crap, Manny Pacquiao just reached out. Like, you're going to trip out, because I told you, man, we're at the highest level and we're just trying to ordain you guys in that same light. So I hope that all gives you, the direction of where you're going, and that we're here to help. And if you don't have your stuff, get your material, because it matters. We're bringing value to you. All right. That's it, man. Anybody else got any comments? How's it going, Coach McDonald? It's good to see you.
Good to be here. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, apologies about that. I messed up on the time scale thing of things, but I'll go back and review the whole thing.
It's a lot to unpack, but enjoy the ride, man. That's all we got right now. The rest of the day is going to be dedicated to prepping for the peekaboo thing. And I wanted to send you out with a message, right? And then we're closing. Is this thing that people, the wave is about the style. It's not about the style. It's about timing. And you'll need all of them to develop a system. Why your value goes up is because you're learning in a system. So you can always make an adjustment. But when you have a system, you have the whole entire thing. And the style like Mike Tyson, you'll understand where it came from, the history of it, and why the school builds you up for all of the things that end up becoming an entire systematic style. And today we'll unpack some things about that unique style that a lot of you are working with your fighters at. So, and for those who haven't, get your stuff so you can start playing around with it. But when you get going, you're going to really appreciate having it. That's all I got for right now, guys. Until next time, be blessed at God's speed. Let's continue to push the game to the next level. You got a comment? Good. Next thing we going out is when I say we make, when you say champions. We make
Champions.
We make
Champions.
the School of Boxing classes in session. I see you today, 5 o'clock. We're getting it in with that Tyson Peekaboo. It's going down. You don't want to miss this one. It's really good.